Hi everyone, Caleb here from H2 Munitions. Today we're making a video about the Dillon 1050 and 1100 press. We're going to address a common question, which is how difficult is it, or how long does it take to remove or change the tool head and or caliber conversion kit on this machine. We're not going to show that process step by step. That information is in the Dillon manual, and I'm sure there are plenty of 15 to 20 minute videos out there showing that. We're going to talk about some tips that are not in the Dillon manual and things that I've just picked up along the way. So the time it takes to change is actually pretty quick. The tool head and the shell plate are all you're swapping. Most of your time is spent with the retaining ring to get the shell plate to the correct tension so it's not too loose and so that it indexes properly. And that process takes about 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the max, maybe even under 10 if you're really experienced and you're pushing your time. However, when you've taken the tool head and shell plate off and you have access to the frame of the machine, it's usually been a while since you've been there, and it's time to do preventative maintenance. So you're going to clean, inspect, re-grease, etc. So it's usually about a 30 to 45 minute process, but tooling swap itself, pretty quick, 10 minutes maybe. Alright, so removing the tool head is the next part we're going to talk about, and the most difficult because of this spring. The tool head spring keeps the tool head under constant tension to assist operation when you're using the press for a manual operated press. Because of that, when you loosen the tool head and you start to work it off of the main shaft here, it'll want to bind up in a couple areas and cause issues. First, we're going to talk about the priming system. This bolt stud, which is on your tool head, will hang up in your primer arm here. Now you can remove that stud temporarily, or you also can just loosen this bolt here, swing the primer arm up out of the way, and move the whole thing up the blast shield and clear it out of the tool head's path. The next thing we're going to talk about is the powder measure. Now, you're not required to take the powder measure off to take the tool head off the press. You can remove the case feeder, and that'll give you better clearance. But if you leave the case feeder on, you're going to hit your powder measure up in this area somewhere, and it's going to cause powder to spill and just can be a mess. I've done that before. So I remove the powder measure. And the reason is because when you remove this tool head, usually you have to work it off left to right, and you can't really go much to the right because of this blast shield. So you end up usually tilting to the left, and it'll drive the powder measure right into your case feed. I don't like dealing with the tool head that has a powder measure on it anyways when it's not on a machine, so I just remove the powder measure. Now, removing the tool head bolt itself. On the 1100, Dillon uses this Allen bolt, and they send you a key. What I like to do is just hold it like this, put a little tension on it so it's not loose in the bolt, and then I will tap the end with a rubber mallet, like so, and loosen the tool head bolt. That way you're not sitting here putting all your weight on it and busting your knuckles up on something on the machine. So that is the pretty much the three things to cover on the tool head. Once you have the tool head off, it's pretty simple. Like I said, that information's in the manual, but it's just, your 4 bolts on your retaining ring, and this ejector tab here needs to be lifted up because it traps the shell plate. So it's just one bolt, you loosen it, swing the ejector tab out of the way, and the shell plate can come off. Now the case feed plunger also traps the shell plate. You can simply pull back on it right here with your finger and hold it out of the way. Usually you don't have to change these if you're staying within a similar caliber family, so you don't have to remove your housing and remove that bolt and replace the whole plunger. Usually you can just pull it back out of the way, move your shell plate. And one thing that does help with that, if you want a little upgrade for your 1050 1100, are these little retaining hooks. These are made by Inline Fabrication, and I've got these on most of my machines, and you can use that to hold your case feed plunger back and out of the way. They're just a handy thing to have. So that is what I use for that. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to show you those few tips. It's not really as complicated as people make it out to be. I would say once you get the shell plate tension down and you've learned how to do that, it's just as easy as a 650, if not even faster, because you don't have to deal with all the little case feed adjustment parts like you do on a 650. So I actually prefer to change over one of these machines, especially on an auto drive. The auto drive, you don't have a tool head spring, right? You just keep your guide rod and you put a bushing in. So really the spring is what causes most of the issues when you're removing the tool head. But anyways, I hope you guys found that video informative and helpful, and thanks for watching.